Have you ever mixed a muddy color and felt so frustrated and disappointed because it feels like game over? Like if you can't get past this point, why bother? Well, I know that you have some beautiful art inside of you, my friend, and so I don't want color mixing to be the thing to stop you in your tracks. So listen up, you amazing, beautiful painter you. A lot of painters struggle with mixing mud, but something that nobody tells you is that oftentimes you can bring mud back from the brink of disaster. Not always, but often. So in this video, I'm going to share with you when and how a mixed color can be brought back from the brink of disaster. And number two, when the color just ain't coming back, sweetheart. Before we get going though, hello there, you amazing creative genius you. My name is Julian and I am a pro artist that takes a lifetime of painting and learning and distills it down into bite-sized bits so you can paint more and paint better and become that real artist we both know that you have deep down inside. If you want to master color mixing, then do yourself a solid and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click on that notification bell. Okay, so for both of these examples, the goal is to make our own gray, which is a critical skill for maintaining color harmony throughout your pieces. Maybe you've heard that complementary colors cancel each other out, which means that generally, as long as your palette for a specific piece includes two complements, you can make your own gray. Now there are two complements I see so many people struggling with, and those are purple and yellow. So for this first example, we are going to mix our own purple using ultramarine and carmine, and then we're going to mix it with Hansa, which is the complement. All right, so first we are going to mix our own purple, like I said. And we might need to adjust this here in a second, so just keep an eye on that. We are going to add our own Hansa here. All right, so let's mix these out and they should turn into a nice gray. We're gonna get a little bit of this Hansa over here. I already had some of the purple on the brush, which is why you see it discoloring already. We're gonna take some of this. All right, so you can see that this is a muddy, mucky color. Certainly not a nice gray, but more of a brown color. And so the way I go about neutralizing this to make a gray and bringing it back from the brink is seeing what the color is and then adding the complementary of that. So right now this color looks more orangey to me, and the complement of orange is blue. So we're gonna add in some blue, and that went actually a lot faster than I expected, but you can see that that is a lovely, lovely gray color. If this mix had been more of a green color, because blue and yellow make green, then I would have added the complement of that, which is the red I'm using, to get to my nice gray color. All right, so that went a lot faster than expected, so hopefully you get the idea. This generally applies to most color mixing, so if you feel like your mix is game over and you can't use it anymore, it is an iterative process, so just keep going until you get the color that you are desiring. All right, so the next color we're going to be looking at is a pre-mixed purple and yellow. My purple completely blew out last week, so I have it in this bag so it doesn't dry up. So this is a manganese violet and it is a pre-mixed tube. All right, so we're going to get some of this on the palette. And I'm going to stick it back in my bag here in a second, but first we are going to mix this with the Hansa now. There is the similar icky muddy color that we had originally, but you'll see that no matter how much, I'm just going to get a good dollop of that out. You'll see that no matter how much of this purple I add, I can't neutralize it out. So it goes more purple, I add more yellow, I add more purple. And no matter how much yellow I add to this or how much purple I add to this, I'm never going to get that nice gray color that we had over here, which is starting to separate out, by the way. The reason this is happening is because this is a pre-mixed tube, which means that the red and the blue in here are already in specific ratios. And so unlike over here where I adjusted it and added more blue or added more red to get to the color I wanted to go to, over here I can't do that because I can't separate this purple into its red and its blue constituents. Many folks reach for pre-mixed tubes of paint because they don't know how to mix their own colors, and you can see from this example that it can be completely disastrous and just make you want to give up. Hey there, Editing Julian here. So if you are looking at this color right now and saying, that's not an ugly color, or I actually like that color a lot more than that boring gray, I understand you, and hear me out. The other day I posted this concept on Instagram and I got so many people saying this, that I actually like that brown color or that muddy brown color more than the gray. And my point here is that if you are aiming for a different color and you get this color, you're not going to enjoy it and it's muddy. So I just wanted to be clear with that. It doesn't really matter which color you like more here. My point is that when you're aiming for a certain color and you get a color that's not the color you want, it feels disappointing and discouraging and muddy. We can like colors, love colors even, but if it's not the right color that we need, it's kind of a disappointment. So I just wanted to clear that up. All right, back to the video. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys one more example, and it kind of happened to me a couple weeks ago when I was painting this piece for the I Painted That challenge, which is a weekly challenge I run. If you're interested, you can check the link below in the description. But I used blue. These are all my swatches of the colors. I used a cerulean blue, a Hansa yellow, and I think a rose color. And I'm going to walk you through my steps for getting some of these really dark colors because it went through some really, really ugly muddy stages, and I want to show you how I brought it back from the brink. All right, so I'm going to start off with this blue. And I want to get to this dark color. So to do that, just with the colors I used, I have to make a green. Can you believe that? And then I added a rose, and look what happens. I get this green color, and that's not the color I want. So actually, I just had an inspired thought I need to share. Okay, my inspired thought I was just thinking when I was doing this is that this is exactly the magic of being confident with color mixing. When you understand how to use your colors, how to mix your colors, how to choose your colors, you feel confident with painting in general because the color part, which is the foundation of painting, is already taken care of. You don't need to worry about it. Just a friendly reminder that this is actually what I specialize in helping you learn. So if you're interested in going deeper with me in this color mixing stuff, check out the links below again. All right, let's keep going. You can see that that's not the right color. It's kind of a green color. So you can add some more blue, and it's just not that color, right? So in order to fix that, I take the rose that I used and I add that to it. And you can see that I'm getting much more of a purpley color. And that's pretty much the color I had used. I used a range of this color mixed with some more rose to get a range of those dark blues and purples. And I just want to point out that if you had stopped at this color, you would be defeated and you would feel like you just can't mix, but it's not true. You can keep mixing to get to where you need to go. Okay, so before I let you go, there are two things I want you to take away from this. First, if you want to become a confident, prolific painter, you have to move away from pre-mixed tubes. Real mastery comes from understanding your pigments and being able to mix any of your own secondaries and tertiary colors. When you rely on pre-mixed tubes, it's really easy to lose the natural color harmony that comes from mixing your own colors. And as you saw in that second example, it makes color mixing feel frustrated and sometimes even impossible. And second, never mix more than 3 colors because this is a surefire way to end up with mud. And that's because each pigment's bias starts canceling each other out. Now, if you are sitting there thinking, okay, I get it, but how do I actually learn to control this? Well, that's exactly what I teach in my free color mixing workshop. To sign up for that, just click the link below in the description and I will see you there. All right, well, thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you want to go on a deeper dive into color bias specifically, you'll definitely want to watch last week's video, which is all about color bias and why you are mixing mud accidentally. If you want to see that, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just click on it because it's coming up right here.